Hi everyone, welcome back. This is our fifth video on the 5 ways to well-being. Last week we talked about getting more active, and as always we set a challenge about increasing your physical activity levels. We've all done that, so we wanted to let you know what we'd done. I have been making the effort to walk to the shops instead of driving, and carrying my shopping home, which has been hard work because I live up a really steep hill. But yeah, it's something that I'm going to try and carry on. What about you, Mary?
Oh, well done. Obviously very heavy. I went for a walk from my house, the back of my house, sort of around the hills there. And one bonus was I found some sloes that I'm keeping an eye on because I'm going to make some sloe gin for Christmas. So productive walk. How about you, Lorna?
Well, I decided that my Fitbit should be slightly less of a decoration and actually more of a useful tool. So I've been checking my steps and making sure that I hit my daily target as opposed to just thinking, oh, I'm nearly there. So yeah, that's been my physical activity level.
Well done. So this week we're going to talk more about take notice. Most of us experience times when we find ourselves lost in our own thoughts. We can be so busy making plans, going from one place to the next, that we don't find time to reflect and really take notice and enjoy the world around us. At other times in our lives, we may find ourselves worrying about the future or the past and being bogged down about repetitive thoughts and negative feelings. In both cases, we can find ourselves not taking the time to pay attention to the present moment, the here and now. And taking notice means doing just that, bringing our mind's attention and interest to the world around us and ourselves, what is going on externally and internally. Taking notice means really being present in the moment, being aware of thoughts and feelings as they arise without getting lost in them. It means savouring that moment, whatever you're doing, which can bring huge benefits to mental health as well. Having all our attention on the here and now can reduce worry, depression, anxiety by stopping us repetitively ruminating on the past or the future as much. Helps us to relax, breaking these unhelpful thinking patterns and doing something a bit more positive, really. And with practice, it also makes us more self-aware. So that's aware of our own needs, who we are, our interests and our values. So we're better able to make choices that are right for us. And the more self-aware we are, the more likely these choices will be successful too. So Lorna, I know you've been thinking about take notice. What were your thoughts on this?
Take notice for me, and what I find helps me most is after a busy day or when you've been somewhere and you're a bit tired, if you're driving along and you see a beautiful view or the sunset, is to just stop and notice it, look at it, and take it in a little bit. And these days, we're all really good at thinking, oh, that's a beautiful sunset. Let's photograph it and put it on Facebook. But maybe we should do a little bit more about sitting there looking at it and appreciating it for ourselves, and then perhaps take the photograph. So it's just having that time, slow down, think about what it is that you're doing. Look, notice the beauty around you. You know, if the sea, you're at the sea, looking beautiful, or the mountains, or the hills, or whatever it is, just take that moment and think, wow, and then move on. So a pause in the day, I suppose, is how I think about it. Is, you know, taking that time out, noticing it, and then moving on. And another one for me is I'm quite a big reader. Well, when I have time. And latterly, I've decided that when I come to the end of a chapter in a book, I'm not going to read it when I'm rushed. I'm not going to read it while I'm cooking tea, or I'm not going to read it before I've got a meeting or whatever it is. I set aside the time it is I think I need to finish that book and make myself a cup of coffee and sit down and relish the reading of it so that I notice that last chapter, I notice the ending, and it becomes, rather than something that is rushed and just, oh, I got to the end. So for me, that's what most of it is about. But if we want to be really kind, if you notice something about somebody else, so if somebody's the haircut and you think, oh, that looks nice, instead of just thinking about it, we need to articulate that and maybe tell them. And then you're noticing actually doing something else for somebody else as well. And it's a really lovely way of just noticing and having that moment. So for me, it's about the moment, Mary. That piece of chocolate, which we'll come back to later on in our chat. But take a moment.
For me, taking notice is about being in the present, which I think, Lorna, you're talking about in terms of when you see a beautiful view or a sunset, actually taking that time to kind of take it all in, because a lot of the time we're thinking about other things and rushing to get to the next place. So there's one really useful technique that I wanted to tell you about to help you to stay present, and it's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. And this involves using all of your 5 senses to really be present. So how it works is you would take a moment and say out loud, ideally, 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. This can be a bit tricky. So, for example, if you can't actually smell anything at the moment, if you can, depending on where you are, move around so you can smell something. So whether that's pop out into the garden and smell the flowers, or smell some freshly baked bread, or anything that's to hand. And if you really can't smell anything, and a useful thing to do is to say out loud 2 things that you really enjoy the smell of. The same with tasting as well. And this can be really helpful in those times when you're feeling very stressed or very anxious, and it can really just draw your attention to what is going on for you at that moment. I found that one really useful myself. Another one is about noticing your breathing. So something that we all do without even realizing, and especially in kind of stressful or anxiety provoking situations, it can be really useful to draw your attention to your breath. So that wouldn't be about kind of changing it as such. It would be just noticing how fast you're breathing. If you're breathing quite deeply or it's quite shallow. If you're feeling it in your belly, in your abdomen, in your chest, if it's how it feels, the breathing, how it sounds. And again, it's just about taking notice. It's drawing your attention to what is going on inside your body at that moment in time. Some people actually find doing structured breathing exercises quite useful. So this is not only taking notice of your breath, but actually changing how you're breathing. So one that I think is quite good, it's called box breathing or square breathing. It's really simple to remember, and again can be done in those situations that you might be finding quite stressful. And how it works is, so you would breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and hold it out for 4 seconds. And then you'd repeat it a few times. So quite easy to remember and can really make a difference, and just bring you into that present moment in time. Can also help with depression as well as those kind of stressful situations, and also pain management as well. So quite a useful one to try. What about you, Mary? I know you've about some breathing exercises as well.
Yeah, I didn't know about the box one. That's really good. The one I've used in the past is just about breathing in through your mouth and breathing out through your nose, and doesn't involve any counting, which sometimes if you're really anxious, or maybe someone's on the verge of a panic attack, sort of thinking about what to count can be a little confusing sometimes. So it's just about in through the mouth, out through the nose, and that will naturally just slow your breathing. So it's just whatever works for you, isn't it? Different tools. But what you're describing there, in its essence, very much is mindfulness, isn't it? And in its most basic terms, that's what mindfulness is. It's about paying attention to the here and now. Be that your breath or something else. It may be a beautiful flower or something you've noticed. This are all the little things. And we do mindfulness at Mid and North Powys Mind. So we have a Facebook Live broadcast with Mike every Monday at 12:30, which has been really popular. And he walks you through some mindfulness, we'll take notice activities, things you can try to get better at it. And I suppose one key thing for me with mindfulness and taking notice is your mind will wander. It will go on to past or present now and again. It'll go back to those thoughts. But don't beat yourself up about it. That's fine. That's okay. That's natural and normal. And just notice that it has and bring your attention then back to the present. And the more you practice, the better you get at it. We do have a practice group, when things are back to normal with us. I'm sure we'll have more courses running again in person, practicing mindfulness. And we had a weekly mindfulness practice group as well. So I'm sure they'll come back in the near future. Lorna, I know you wanted to add some more to this one.
Sorry, I was doing the breathing. Yes, it's about when you're in that place or in that moment. It's about thinking about what you're doing. So we all eat, we all have meals through the day, but how many of us grab that sandwich on the go and eat it at our desks, or when we're busy doing something else, you iron a little bit, you have a bite of a sandwich. It's about taking that time out to eat. Eating is really important and it makes us who we are. It's our fuel. So it's thinking about what you're eating, when you're eating, those tastes, the feel of the food in your mouth. And what's really good about eating is that we should do it with other people. And if you can't do that because you live alone or something, it's quite useful, and I've seen it done, is to connect via video with somebody on a laptop, iPad, phone, whatever. And you could both arrange to meet, say, we'll eat our meal at 6 this evening, and eat it at the table. Don't eat it on your lap watching TV or watching the news. And the news is sure to give you indigestion if you eat and watch the news at the same time. So plan that food and eat it as something that you experience, as it should be, something nice, something nutritious, and is integral to who and what we are. And in that, be grateful for what you're eating and think about what it is. Yes, notice what you're eating.
I think, Lorna, gratitude and being grateful for those meals that you're eating is a really important part of taking notice, and not just eating without thinking about it, but actually being grateful. I think that's really important. I think gratitude lists is one idea that people have found really helpful. So this is maybe either out loud or writing it down, just every day, listing maybe between 3 and 5 things that you're grateful for that day. Can be really helpful in helping you to take notice of things that are going on around you, and to kind of move your focus onto perhaps more positive things. Things that can be on your list can be tiny things. They could be like just noticing something that makes you smile, or being grateful for the weather, for bumping into somebody, for having a chat with someone, being grateful for a car being able to take you from A to B, absolutely anything. And this is a really useful daily practice that can just help to draw your attention to the things that that you appreciate in life. Something that's similar to this is thinking about your what went wells. So a useful practice could be to towards the end of the day, think again about maybe 3 things that day have gone well for you. I think it can be quite easy, especially if we're quite anxious or worried, to maybe focus on those things that maybe didn't go so well, or worrying about things that might happen in the future, the next day. So what can be really good is just highlighting those 3 things that have gone well that day, and again, can be really, really tiny things.
That's one thing that Mary, I've been trying to do a bit more when we go into walk the dog or just go somewhere. I've been trying to do what you suggest, Lizzie. When I go on a little walk the dog somewhere, just stop and notice and be grateful for those little things. And you'll always see something on, even like a drizzly day walk. There'll be some flower or some tree or a strange bird that you've not seen before, or that's just different and catches your eye, and just stopping and really seeing it. And also trying new routes is something I'm trying to do a bit more of as well. So instead of just going on the usual walk routes, trying a few new ones. So as you do notice new things, then it does help you, I think, be in the present and notice new things, see new things, keep your interest, and keep taking notice. Really.
Yeah, I'm a big lily lover, and I love my lilies in my garden. But I'd fallen into a really bad habit of every spring thinking, "Oh, the lilies are flowering," and walking straight past, and then deadheading them about 5 or 6 days later. But this last couple of years, actually, since I've been working for Mind, I've made an effort to think, oh, the lilies are flowering, look at them, smell them, appreciate them, and take notice of them, and not just think of them as something that's in my garden and hope the visitors might notice them. I plant them for me, so I should notice them. And actually, it's just a moment. It's 30 seconds, a minute, and it rewards the effort that you put in. So it's just noticing that effort. And in the process, I think during COVID, we've all taken more notice maybe of our lives. We've had time to evaluate and think about what's important for us, take more time for what's important for us. So it's noticing that sort of thing as well. And just do it for you, do it to make you feel good. And then if you feel good, others around you will also feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think so much of what we've talked about today about taking notice is just being in the moment and taking that time to look around and take things in. I think, especially at the moment, we tend to rush around doing one thing after another without really taking a breather, or even doing loads of things all at once. I know myself, I can be walking the dog, texting a friend, thinking about work, thinking about what I want for dinner, all at the same time, and actually just not noticing at all what's going on around me. So I think it can be really helpful to just practice being in the moment and savouring the moment. I also wanted to link in actually what we've talked about so far in this series of videos. So in terms of the other 4 ways to well-being that we've talked about, it can be really useful to tie in taking notice when we're doing those other things as well. So when we are learning a new skill, connecting with others, giving something, being more physically active, actually just being in the moment, appreciating the fact that you're doing that, enjoying doing that, and just really savor that moment. So I hope that's useful. I know Lorna was going to give us a challenge to do over the next week. What do you think, Lorna?
Oh, I have a very hard challenge for everybody. Earlier on, I mentioned chocolate. And the challenge this week is for you to take a piece of that chocolate, whether it be white, dark chocolate, or milk chocolate, place it on your tongue. Do not bite it. Do not suck it. Just let it melt. Close your eyes. Concentrate on your breathing from Lizzie's and Mary's things about breathing, and just let that chocolate melt. And the challenge is not to do it, not to suck it, and just let it melt. And if you can't do that because you don't do chocolate, take a moment out to look at that view or that beauty around you or that tree. Walk barefoot in the grass. Just do something that you find puts you in the moment and that you take notice and appreciate it. And from that, we'd like to thank you for watching this video. We hope you've enjoyed it and taken something from it. We hope it helps you. We've enjoyed it. Sorry about our internet glitches, but that's what it is. And next week, we will be doing a video incorporating all the 5 ways to well-being and how to help you with change in your life, whether that be moving house or job or whatever it is, because change can be quite frightening. So we think that the 5 ways to well-being will help you with that. So until next week, it's thank you from all of us and have a good time. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.